بڑھتے ہوئے سائے تڑپتی رہ گئی ماں اور علی اکبر نہیں آئے مصیبت گزر جانا ہی لکھا ہے جوانی میں اگر یارا گزرنے سے علی اکبر کے پہلے ماں گزر جائے مصیبت وہی انداز کر سکتا ہے درد قلب لیلا کا نظر کے سامنے جس کے جواب ٹاس نہ کھائے مصیبت جوان کی لاش پیری میں اٹھانا ایک قیامت ہے یہ دن اللہ دنیا میں کسی کو بھی نہ دکھلائے مصیبت سنبھل کر کھینچیے گا قلب اکبر سے سینہ مولا الجھ کر نوک نیزہ میں جگر باہر نہ جائے مصیبت زمیں تھرا گئی یک برکلاشا رکھ کے ریتی پر حسین نے علی جب شکر کا سجدہ بجا لائے مصیبت کی گھڑی اور شام کے بڑھتے ہوئے سائے ور محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم.
If you guys can move a little bit more forward, guys, there's a lot of space here. Just keep moving forward. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Just for some context, this is an imaginary conversation between Sayyidah Fatima and Imam Hussain before her final moments. So with your ijaza and one more salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Please be patient, my dear son. Your musibah's just begun. Muhsin was taken from me. Oh, the pain, the agony. Oh, Hussain, how do I tell you about your little Ali? His thirst to them you will show, but they'll pierce his tiny throat. Please be patient, my dear son. Your musibah's just begun. They pushed the door onto me. In my chest nails pierced me. Oh, Hussain, how many arrows will shower your pure body? Stones and arrows from all sides. No one left to help you fight. Please be patient, my dear son. Your musibah's just begun. When Zainab comes to my room, I don't let her see the wounds. Oh, Hussain, don't let Sakina see what they will do to you. How will your princess sleep if she sees your torn body? Please be patient, my dear son. Your musibah's just begun. After all they did to me, my ribs broke, could barely breathe. Oh, Hussain, I fear your ribs will share the same fate as me. They'll prepare the horses' hooves to trample my lifeless noof. Please be patient, my dear son. Your musibah's just begun. Do you know how much it hurts to not quench your child's thirst? Oh, Hussain, on that day your throat from the thirst will start to burn. When we reunite above, I will quench your thirst, my love. Please be patient, my dear son. Your musibah's just begun. When Akbar and Abbas leave, you will look around and see you're all alone, and you'll cry out, is there no one to help me? When you step into the field, I'll be next to you, be your shield. Please be patient, my dear son. Your musibah's just begun. Oh, the treasure of my soul, come lay on my chest once more. At least now your head's in my lap. Where will it be when you go? Before taking your final breath, a man will sit on your chest. Please be patient, my dear son. Your musibah's just begun. Oh, the apple of my eye. Do not be sad, do not cry. Please be patient, my dear son. Your musibah's just begun. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
If I can please ask everyone to please move forward. There's still some space here and there's more brothers that are coming in. With one loud salawat, if you can please stand up and move forward, it'll make everything easier. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, salawat. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, salawat. آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین. آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین. تیرا چہرہ تیری آنکھیں بھول کب پائی حسین. آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین. چلتے ناکے سے گرایا خود کو جلتی ریت پر. چلتے ناکے سے گرایا خود کو جلتی ریت پر. گھٹنیوں کے بل میں تیری لاش تک آئی حسین. بس میں گھبرائی تھی خنجر تجھ پہ چلتا دیکھ کر. بس میں گھبرائی تھی خنجر تجھ پہ چلتا دیکھ کر. پھر کسی
مشکل میں گھر کر میں نہ گھبرائی حسین بہہ رہے تھے آنکھ سے آنسو تیری رخصت کے وقت پھر کوئی آنسو نہ ٹپکا آنکھ پتھرائی حسین ہاتھ میں کوزے لیے سب آسماں تکتے رہے ابر نے ایک بوند پانی کی نہ برسائی حسین تیرا چہرہ تیری آنکھیں بھول کب پائی حسین آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات
صلوات بر محمد وآل محمد
بلندتر صلوات بر محمد وآل محمد بلندتر صلوات
صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا ابن رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا مظلوم يا غريب يا عطشان يا ليتنا
معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. On this night, the companions gathered around Imam al-Hussain in the same way that you are all gathered here today. Imagine the Imam was sitting on this minbar and all of us sitting before him, and he told us, they only want my blood and they only want my neck. Take this night as a cover for you and leave. Go with your families. The Imam really was telling them to leave. He had prepared his heart to be that lonely that he was going to face the night by himself, and that he will go in the morning and face the army by himself. And we owe the ashab for telling him, Anabqa ba'dak? You want us to remain after you, Ya Aba Abdullah? He asked, you will all remain? They said, even if we are killed and cut to pieces, we will all remain. Qasim asked, what about me? Uncle, can I stay with you? He said to Qasim, my son, what does death taste like to you? And young Qasim said, Ahla min al-asal, sweeter than honey, my dear uncle. Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam was worried. She voiced her concern to Imam al-Hussain in the tents. She told him, brother, do you really think they will all stay? Or do you think it's just going to be us tomorrow? Do you really think they're going to stay? There's 30,000. They're coming to kill us. Maybe you're going to be by yourself, just you and Abbas. Habib ibn Mudahir heard this. He felt so much pain in his heart. He went to the ashab. He said, Zainab is worried. Let's all stand outside the tent and show her that we will never leave her. We will protect the daughter of Amir al-Mu'mineen. They went and they stood outside the tents and they said, women of Rasulullah, women of Ali bin Abi Talib, no one will be able to come to the tents as long as we are breathing. As long as we are here, they will not come to the tents. As long as we are here, they will not burn the tents. As long as we are here, no one can whip Zainab. As long as we are here, no one can touch the earrings of Sukaina. And then Sayyidah Zainab sent her salam to Habib ibn Mudahir. Habib fell to his knees. He took the soil of Karbala, he put it on his head. Who am I for the daughter of Amir al-Mu'mineen to send salam to me? What has happened to this world that the daughter of Amir al-Mu'mineen has to feel like she has to thank me? Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, if only you were there on that day. Then everyone went to their tents and they began to recite the Quran and they began to pray in the tent of Abbas, the tent of Hussain. But one woman stayed outside the tents. Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam stayed outside the tents and she watched the sky and she watched the stars. And she would speak to the night. And she would tell the night to prolong its hours. Tonight is the final night. Tonight is the final night that I am with the Ahlul Bayt. Tomorrow I'm going to be taken captive. Tomorrow the women of Rasulullah will be chained. And the orphans of Abu Abdullah will be chained, starving, thirsty, marched through the street, having to watch the bodies of all the men that they love, having to witness all the heads on the spears. And so she calls out to the night. Ya Lail طول ساعتك يا ليل احمل آتك يا ليل طول ساعتك يا ليل احمل آتك لا ليل طول ساعات يا ليل احمل آهاتك لو ودعت الوليان تتولاني العدوان طول يا ليل الوداع شما تطول وياك ساهر. She says, night, prolong your hours. As long as you stay, I will stay. As long as you are, O night, I will stay with you. Just don't let the sun come. ما أمل من البواتشي حتى لو تعمل نواظر. She said, I will cry all night. I will cry the whole night even if my eyes become blind. حسين حسين بس هالليلة يمي ما تشوف عيوني باكر. She said, Hussain, just this night you're with me. This is the end for us. My whole life I was raised with you, with Ali, with Fatima, with Hassan, and now Hussain, you're going to leave me. And tomorrow morning you will not see my eyes any longer. صدقني يا ليل القهار يا ريتك تطول دهر خائفة نشبح القدر وأخاف أضل مكسور خاطر. She calls out to the night. She fears to remain heartbroken and that the sun will come and ruin all her hopes. The morning of Ashoora, the sun of Ashoora rose to the sky. And Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam prepared his warriors. They all formed their formations, thirsty, with dry lips. The first to go out and fight was Habib ibn Mudahir. He went to represent the companions of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, and one by one the companions were struck. Habib was beheaded and his head was thrown back to Abu Abdullah, and the Imam took the head of Habib and held it to his chest, and he said the same words that he said when he lost Ali al-Asghar. And he said, Ya Allah, I can only be patient because you're watching me. He watched all of his best friends, all of his companions, one by one fall to the ground. One by one he picked up a shaheed after a shaheed. What heart is this? Every single shaheed, every single companion, over 70 men, Imam al-Hussein carried with his hands and put them back and laid them next to each other. One man. Until only the Banu Hashim were left. The blood of Rasulullah. All the companions gave themselves. And so Imam al-Hussein called the first of the Banu Hashim. Whenever Aba Abdullah missed Rasulullah, he would call his son Ali al-Akbar. Whenever he missed the scent of Rasulullah, he would bring near him Ali al-Akbar. This beautiful young man was the pride of the life of Imam al-Hussein, the fruit of his whole life. Abu Abdullah gave all of his companions, knowing after all of his friends are gone, it will be the Banu Hashim. And who is the first to go from the Banu Hashim? For a leader like Abu Abdullah, he will send his most beloved first. So he calls upon Ali al-Akbar. My son, Ya Ali, have you seen what the companions have done on the battlefield? Ali says, Father, I have seen. Imam al-Hussein tells him, do you know, now it's time for the Banu Hashim to fight. He wants to tell Ali al-Akbar that it's his turn. It's time for the Banu Hashim to fight. Ali al-Akbar holds his armor, holds his helmet, holds his sword. Father, all you have to tell me is one word, and I will go and defend the household of Rasulullah. Though the words were not coming from Imam al-Hussein's mouth, the proud father looking into the eyes of his son, he puts his hand on his shoulder. I am proud of you, my son. You are truly the grandson of Ali bin Abi Talib. You are truly the grandson of Rasulullah. If you are prepared to go into battle, wear your armor, unsheathe your sword. He says, Abata, I am prepared except one thing. Is there not a drop of water that I may put on my tongue? The throat is so dry. The thirst is killing me, Father. His words broke the heart of Abu Abdullah. Imam al-Hussein took his ring from his finger. It was the closest thing he had to cool the tongue of Ali al-Akbar. He put his ring on his lips, on his tongue. Ya Ali, I wish I had water to give you, my son. Before you go and say goodbye. Ali al-Akbar stepped into the tent. Zainab held him towards a chest, and Sukaina hugged his legs. Ali al-Akbar said goodbye to the woman. He stepped outside. He said goodbye to his father. Imam al-Hussain said no word. He just looked him in the eyes. And Ali mounted his horse and he rid into the battlefield. And Ali ibn al-Hussain ibn Ali, who will dare come and face the grandson of Ali bin Abi Talib? As they emerged, Ali al-Akbar struck every man down one by one, though they surrounded him and began to rain down their swords upon him. Ali al-Akbar knew his father was watching, and he kept fighting until a spear went through his chest. From the front, it came out from the back, and Ali screamed in pain. Imam al-Hussain watched as the spear pierced Ali's chest, and the blood spilled all over his horse, and the blood blinded his horse, and the horse began to panic, and the horse started to run into the enemy lines, and now the enemy surrounded Ali al-Akbar. Young Ali by himself, surrounded by hundreds of swords. The spear was still in his chest. He was bleeding from head to toe. They began to cut Ali until his body fell to the ground. Father, come to my aid. As they were cutting Ali, Imam al-Hussain ran towards the enemy, and they began to disperse, and Abu Abdullah unmounted his horse, and he walked over to Ali, and he saw his son cut to pieces. He sat by his side. Waladi ya Ali, kallimni, talk to me, my son, my beloved child. He held Ali in his arms. He tried to open his eyes, clearing the blood from his face, trying to fix him as much as he could. Ali al-Akbar opens his eyes and tears stroll down his face. But when he sees his father, he smiles. Abata, Abata, I can see Rasulullah. Abata, Rasulullah is here. He's giving me a cup of water. He's giving me a cup of water, Mama. He says I will never go thirsty again. But I see my grandmother, Fatima. She keeps calling your name, Abata. Wa Hussaina wa walada. Atshana. And at that moment, Ali al-Akbar breathes his last breath. Imam al-Hussain calls out to the sky, Ali ala dunya ba'daka al-afa. There is no world after you, my son. Every time he tried to pick up Ali, pieces of his body would fall. His heart was breaking as he tried to gather his son. He held the spear and he looked towards Najaf. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, you lifted the door of Khaybar, but you did not lift the spear from the chest of your son. Abu Abdullah gathered Ali and walked back to the tent, and he laid Ali down. Zainab asked, where is my nephew? Imam al-Husain's face was full of pain, full of grief. Ali Ra, Ya Zainab, Ali is gone, Ali is no more. Those words broke the heart of Zainab. Ali's cousin Qasim watched as his cousin came back to the tent. He watched Imam al-Hussain lay Ali al-Akbar down. He looked around, he could see there was no one left. He saw only his uncle Abbas. He was wishing, if only my father Imam al-Hassan was here with us. He was asking all day to be with Imam al-Hussain, and the Imam kept telling him to go to the tent. But now that Ali al-Akbar is gone, Qasim didn't want his uncle to be left alone. And he went to him one final time. Amma, you let Ali al-Akbar go. Would you please allow me to defend you the way Akbar defended you? Imam al-Hussain kneels down and hugs Qasim. He says, my child, you are the remnant of my brother Hassan. I do not wish to lose you, Ya Qasim. Go back to your mother inside the tent. Qasim listened to his uncle. He went back to the tent. He was crying, he was grieving for all of his family. He was wishing he could do more. And so his mother sat by his side and said, Qasim, there is an amana for you from your father. He had given it to me from when you were born. Take this pendant, inside it is a letter, and give this letter to your uncle Hussain. It is a letter from your father Al-Mujtaba. Qasim took the letter, he tried to smell it, to kiss it, he hugged it towards his chest. He was so happy to give something to Abu Abdullah. He ran outside hurriedly. He said, Amma, I have something from my father. Imam al-Hussain took the letter and opened it, and he saw the handwriting of Imam al-Hassan, and tears started to stroll down his face, and he saw the words of his brother. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. On that day that our father always told us about, I will not be by your side. How I wish I could be with you, Ya Hussain. But I have Qasim in my place. Raise this young boy as if he was your son. And when that day comes, let him represent me in Karbala. For there is no day like your day. La yawm ka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. Imam al-Hussain folded the letter. He looked at Abbas. He said, Abbas, bring Qasim a sword. Bring him his armor. Abu Fadl approached. He put the armor on Qasim, though it was too large for his small body. And how heavy the sword was for his young arms. Though he wished to represent Imam al-Mujtaba, Imam al-Hussain said, Qasim, go and say goodbye to the woman. Qasim went back to say goodbye. They all hugged him and embraced him until his mother came forward. She held him in her arms. Qasim, when you go and meet your grandmother Fatima, tell her I also gave my son in Karbala. I raised you from when you were a baby in my womb. I gave you from my milk. I nursed you when you were sick. I watched you grow into this fine young man. And now go to Hussain. Qasim said goodbye. He turned around and she said, wait. One more time, let me hear you say that word. Call me your mother. One last time. I want to remember your voice, Ya Qasim. Yumma Widan Yumma. Goodbye, my mother. He bid her farewell and emerged from the tent. His uncle Abbas helped him to mount his horse. He said goodbye to his uncles and he set out into the battlefield. And he called out, Ana al-Qasim ibn al-Hassan ibn Ali. And he fought the enemies of Allah until Qasim's shoe came undone. When he bent to fix his shoe, a mal'oon struck his sword onto the head of Qasim, and Qasim fell to the ground, and they began to surround Qasim. And as he was dealing with the strikes, he calls out, Amma ya Hussain, adrikni. Imam al-Hussain rode towards Qasim. He struck down the killer of Qasim. And he sat down by the small body of Qasim. He took him into his arms. He walked back to the tents and he laid Qasim next to Ali al-Akbar. Now there was no one left, only Abbas and Hussain. And the children were screaming, El-Atash, El-Atash. Sukaina told them, I will ask my uncle Abbas if he can bring us some water. She said, Amma, the children are thirsty. Allahu Akbar. The children are thirsty. Can you bring us water? Abu Fadil on that day kept asking Abu Abdullah to go and fight. But Imam al-Hussein told him, Ya Abbas, if you fight and you don't come back, you are my whole army. I will be a man without an army. But Ya Abbas, as long as you hold that flag, as long as that flag is in the sky, the woman can see the flag in the sky. I can see the flag in the sky. I know you're there, Ya Abbas, and I know we still have our army. But when Abu Fadil asked to go get water, he said, Mawlai, Sukaina is so thirsty. I wish to get her and the children water. Imam al-Hussein looked at Abbas. They exchanged a look. Only they knew what was about to happen. Hussein took Abbas in his arms. He held him so tight. Abbas told him, Mawlai, I will bring the water back. He went into the tents and all the children ran. Amma, Amma, Uncle Abbas, will you really bring back the water? He told all the children, I will bring you the water. Just wait for me. He said goodbye to Zainab. Abu Fadil went outside. He bowed his head before his master Hussain. He received his blessing and he took the flag and he mounted the horse. One arm held the flag up high, his other arm had his sword, and he charged into the battlefield. No one could stand in front of Abbas. And Al-Abbas ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib, as if Haydar was there on the day of Khaybar. Anyone that stood in his way was struck down. And Abbas was the only man who reached the riverbed. He unmounted his horse. The enemies dispersed. No one could come near him. He put his warm hands into the cold river, the cold water. His throat was dry. His lips were parched. He took the water in his hands, and all he could think of was Sukaina. He he heard her voice saying, Uncle Abbas, can you bring me water? He threw the water into the river. Ya nafs min Bab-ul-Hussain huni. After Hussain, you are nothing, Ya Abbas. How can I drink if Sukaina is still thirsty? How can I drink if my master Hussain is thirsty? La wallah, that is not the way of the son of Ali bin Abi Talib. I will remain thirsty until they drink. He put the water container into the river. He took all the water, he tied the container, and he mounted his horse, and he could see the tents, and he began to ride towards the tents. He could see the children waiting for the water. He kept the water between his chest and his legs, and he had the flag in his arm and the sword in his other arm, and he kept riding towards the tents. The enemies began to chase Abbas. He would fight them off whilst balancing the water between his legs and keeping the flag held high, remembering how Hussein wants the flag to remain high. He kept fighting and heading towards the tents until a mal'oon struck his sword down onto the arm of Abbas. His arm cut off. His blood spilled from his arms. He left his arm on the ground and he kept riding towards the tent. All I need to do is bring the water to the children. I will give everything to bring the water to the children. He was only thinking of their screams, Al-Atash, Al-Atash, until another man struck his sword onto the other arm of Abbas. Abbas stood without arms. He balanced the flag between his shoulder and his neck, and he kept riding towards the tents without arms. He was breathing heavily as the blood spilled from his body. But as long as he had the water, he kept going towards the tent until the arrow that broke the heart of Abbas, the arrow that was shot and pierced the water. He watched the water spill onto the ground, whilst he could hear the voices of the children screaming, "Thirst, thirst!" Abbas finally stopped. He no longer went towards the tents. He had no arms, trying to balance the flag on his shoulder, and Harmala shot his arrow into the eye of Abu Fadl. Abbas was blinded and surrounded. They all began to attack him with swords and spears, and a man struck his spear onto the head of Abbas. His helmet flew. Abbas lost balance and he began to fall from the horse. and the flag of Hussain began to fall. He had no arms to block himself from falling onto the ground. He fell face first to the ground and called out, Mawlai, Assalamu alayka ya Mawlai, ya Aba Abdullah. Imam al-Hussain ran towards Abbas. The enemy dispersed. Hussain unmounted his horse. He followed the pool of blood. He walked towards the place where Abbas's body was on the ground, cut to pieces, no arms, no eyes. He could barely breathe. Abbas heard footsteps approaching, and he said, Oh man, I have the warrior's request. Give me just one moment to say goodbye to my master Hussain. Akhi ya Abbas, it's me Hussain. Abbas did not respond. Hussain took him into his arms. Abbas, with all the energy he had left, removed his head from the lap of Hussain and he put his bleeding face into the ground. Abbas, Akhi, Kalimni, my brother, talk to me. Why do you remove your head from my lap? He said, Mawlai, how can you take my head in your lap, Mawlai? After me, where will your head be? Alone in Karbala, Mawlai. I'm sorry I could not get the water. Imam al-Hussain holds him towards his arms. Abu Fadil says, Mawlai, I have a request. I saw you take Akbar back to the tent. I saw you take Qasim back to the tent. You held every single person and took him back to the tent. Mawlai, don't take me back to the tent. Leave me here on the ground. I don't want Zainab to see me like this. I don't want Zainab to see me without arms. And I cannot face Sukaina without the water. Imam al-Hussain cried. And he said, Abbas, I also have a request. For once in your life, can I hear with your voice? Call me your brother, Ya Abbas. Abu Fadil, with his last breath, called out, Assalamu alayka ya akhi, ya madloom, ya atshan, ya wahid. الآن كسر ظهري. Now my back is broken, Ya Abbas. There is no one left, Ya Abbas. هل من ناصر ينصرنا يا أبا عبد الله alone in Karbala surrounded by 30,000. Imam al-Hussain came back to the tent. There was no one left. He called out, Ya Habib. There was no reply. Ya Zuhair. There is no reply. Akbar. There is no reply. Abbas. There is no reply. Where are you, my companions? I call you and no one responds to me. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Imam al-Hussain goes to the tents. He knows it's time to say goodbye. He embraces his wife. He embraces the children. And he looks around and he cannot find Sukaina. Where is Sukaina? They told him she's outside. Imam al-Hussain looked outside the tent and he saw a small girl sitting in the sun. And he walked over to his daughter. He took her in his arms and he put his hand on her head. She looked at him and said, Baba, Uncle Abbas didn't come back. Tell him I don't want water. Baba, I don't want water anymore. Can you please tell Uncle Abbas to come back? Why is your hand on my head? Every time I saw you put your hand on the head of a child, their Baba didn't come back. Baba, are you not coming back? He told them, my dear Sukaina, I want you to be strong with your mother. The pain of the father in his heart. He kissed her on the head and took her to the tent. He said goodbye. He emerged from the tent. He went to mount his horse. And Zainab called him, Mahlan, Mahlan, Ibn Zahra. My brother, wait. Just give me a bit of time. Imam al-Hussain unmounted his horse. Zainab went into his chest. She said, show me your neck. Show me your chest. The Imam opened up his scarf and Zainab kissed his neck and his chest. She called out, Ya Fatima, the amana has been fulfilled. I kissed your chest, Ya Hussain. My mother told me to kiss your chest, Ya Hussain, for that is where the hooves of the horses will trample. That is where they will break your ribs. And I kissed your neck, Ya Hussain, for that is where the sword will lay. That is where the dagger will cut. What is my life after you, Ya Aba Abdullah? He tells Zainab to be patient. He bids farewell to Zainab. He tells her, you stay with my son, Zainul Abidin. And he takes Imam as-Sajjad's hand. He tells him, you are now the Imam after me. And then he whispers into his ear, بلغ شيعتي عني السلام. He sends his salam to his Shia. Abu Abdullah sends his salam to you from Karbala. He looks towards the battlefield. Now there is no one left except the cries of a small baby. There was no one to answer Hal min Nasirin Yansuruna except the cries of a baby, as if the 6-month-old baby said, Labbaika ya abata. Zainab said, this baby had no water to drink. Perhaps you can bring some water to this baby. Perhaps they will quench its thirst. Imam al-Hussain takes Ali al-Asghar. Allahu Akbar. Every year we recite this, and every year it becomes more tragic. How is it this? How can this be? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Imam al-Hussain takes Ali al-Asghar in his arms. The baby feels safe in the arms of its father. The baby is looking up into the face of his father. Imam al-Hussain goes out and calls to the enemies of Allah. Oh people, you called me to help you and I came, and you betrayed me. And you kept me and my children thirsty, and you've slain my entire family. This 6-month-old baby had no water. Will you give it a drop of water to quench his thirst? Harmala pointed his arrow towards Hussain, and he aimed for the throat of Asghar. Abu Abdullah held Ali al-Asghar to the people, the Hujjah of Allah. The arrow was shot from the hands of Harmala, and the arrow pierced the neck of Asghar. As he was in the arms of his father, Imam al-Hussain watched as that small baby in his hands struggled to breathe. His neck was only hanging on by the skin. He threw the blood into the sky, and not a drop came back. Ya Allah, do you see what they have done to the son of Rasulullah? Imam al-Hussain took Ali al-Asghar and planted him next to his brother Akbar. And now he was completely alone. No one left, only Hussain. thirsty Hussain. Imam al-Hussain mounted Zul-Janah and he went out into the battlefield. Say goodbye to your Mawla. He went out into the battlefield and al-Hussain ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib, the son of Rasulullah, the son of Fatima Zahra. The narrations say there was never a man who was like a wolf attacking sheep. Every time he came near, they all ran away. He would strike them down. No one could come near the son of Rasulullah. He would come back to his position and say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And with a heart so brave, despite losing his whole family, despite being so thirsty, he continued to fight. Slowly, as the knives and swords would pierce him, the sword would pierce his shoulder, a sword would pierce his back, an axe would pierce his arm, an arrow pierce his chest, and the poison from the arrow dispersed in his body. Abu Abdullah was losing his breath. He continued to fight. Every time they came close, he would turn them off, he would turn them away, he would push them away, he would strike them down until he became exhausted. And he planted his sword into the ground and he took a knee, trying to catch his breath. He looked down, he could barely breathe. He was bleeding from his head. He was bleeding from his arms. He was bleeding from his back. He was wounded all over his body with arrows and swords and spears. And then he heard Umar ibn Sa'd. He said, attack the tents. As soon as Imam al-Hussain saw them trying to attack the tents, all his energy to stand up, and he called out, cowards, come and fight me. No one will attack the tents. He continued to protect the tents, though he was wounded from head to toe. Again they surrounded him. Abu Abdullah was alone, trying to catch his breath, wounded front and back. The wounds became too severe. They began to stab him all over his body. Imam al-Hussain could barely move. He fell to the ground. He couldn't move. His face was full of blood. His throat was dry. He looked around. The people began to surround him. And the small young boy ran from the camp of Hussain. His young nephew, the son of Imam al-Hassan, only a small boy, ran to his uncle Hussain and jumped on his body and said, leave my uncle Hussain. And they killed the young boy in front of Imam. Assalamu alayka ya Mawla ya Abu Abdullah. He laid on the ground by himself. He called out to Allah, Ya Rab, do you you see what they have done? Imam al-Hussain was full of arrows by himself. They surrounded him. They had stones. They threw the stones on Hussain. And they didn't know who will finish the Imam until Shimr approached the body of Hussain. He sat on the chest of Mawla Abdullah. He sat on the chest of Hussain. He looked him in his eyes. The Imam had his eyes on the tent. He grabbed his beard full of blood. His grey beard was now red. He grabbed his beard and he took his dagger on the son of Fatima, on the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He sat on the chest of Hussain. He grabbed the beard of Hussain. He placed the dagger on the neck of Hussain. And he began to cut the neck of Imam al-Hussain. He cut the neck 12 times. وَوَيْلَا حُسَيْنَا.
Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain. گھڑیل جوا کی لاش پر کہتا رہا در پدر آواز تو دے آواز تو دے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے 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 آواز تو دے
سب آواز دیں
گرتا ہوا اٹھتا ہوا آ تو گیا ہوں میں مگر گم ہو گیا نور نظر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر 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 آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر گرتا ہوا اٹھتا ہوا آ تو گیا ہوں میں مگر گم ہو گیا نور نظر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر تو نوجواں ہے اکبر اور ہے ضعیف بابا تو نوجواں ہے اکبر کیسے اٹھاؤ میت مجھ کو تو بتا دے اتنا جانا ہے اب خیام تک کیسے کروں میں یہ سفر خم ہو گئی میری کمر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر 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 گرتا ہوا اٹھتا ہوا آ تو گیا ہوں میں مگر گم ہو گیا نور نظر ہے آواز
تو دے اکبر ہائے آواز تو دے اکبر ہائے آواز تو دے اکبر آئی صدا جدھر سے میں اس طرف بڑھوں گا آئی صدا جدھر سے آوازیں سنتے سنتے تجھے رن میں ڈھونڈ لوں گا تو ہے جدھر پیارے میرے دھیرے سے یہ کہتے ہوئے بابا ادھر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر 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 تو ہے جدھر پیارے میرے دھیرے سے یہ کہتے ہوئے بابا ادھر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر تیری صدا کو سن کر وہ پھر سے جی اٹھے گی تیری صدا کو سن کر ہم شیر تیری ورنہ شاید نہیں جی پائے گی سینے کی برچی تھام کے سغرا کو اس کے نام سے ایک بار ہمت جوڑ کر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر 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 گرتا ہوا اٹھتا ہوا آ تو گیا ہوں میں مگر گم ہو گیا نور نظر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر برچھی سے بس کلیجا تیرا نہیں چدا ہے برچھی سے بس کلیجا مقتل میں فاطمہ نے جل اپنا تھام لیا ہے بھائی حسین نانا نبی بابا علی دادی تیری موجود ہے سب ہی ادھر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے سب پڑھنا میں والا مل کے جواب دیں آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر لاشے کے دونوں جانب بیٹھی ہے مائیں دونوں لاشے کے دونوں جانب سینے کے بوسے دے کے لیتی ہے بلائے دونوں زینب ادھر لیلا ادھر چومے تیرا زخمی جگر ان سے تو کوئی بات کر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر 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 زینب ادھر لیلا ادھر چومے تیرا زخمی جگر ان سے تو کوئی بات کر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر 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 اکبر جناب اکبر خاموش ہو گئے تھے اکبر جناب اکبر شبیر سر جھکائے لاشے کے پاس کھڑے تھے زینب کبھی لیلا کبھی بہنیں کبھی نام کہتا رہا یہ سارا گھر ہے آواز تو دے اکبر
خدا کرے دل سے غم حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے دل سے غم حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے لے جاؤں میں لہد میں نشان حضرت عباس کی ضیاء نشان حضرت عباس کی ضیاء پھیلے نشان حضرت عباس کی ضیاء سارے جہاں پہ چھائے چم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو غم خدا کرے دل زباں پر ہو یا حسین. او بے علی ہو دل میں زباں پر ہو یا حسین. جب وقت نزح نکلے جب وقت نزح نکلے میرا دم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے. ڈر ڈر کے کہہ رہے تھے یہ آپس میں سب لئی رہے تھے یہ آپس میں سب لئی. ڈر ڈر کے کہہ رہے تھے یہ آپس میں سب لئی. عباس ہو نہ نہر پہ عباس ہو نہ نہر پہ ہم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے. اکبر نے شہ کے سامنے توڑا تھا جیسے داؤں. اکبر نے شہ کے سامنے توڑا تھا جیسے داؤں. اکبر نے شہ کے سامنے توڑا تھا جیسے داؤں. کوئی پدر نہ دیکھے کوئی پدر نہ دیکھے یہ عالم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے. اکبر نے شہ کے سامنے توڑا تھا جیسے داؤں. نے شہ کے سامنے توڑا تھا جیسے داؤں. اکبر نے شہ کے سامنے توڑا تھا جیسے داؤں. کوئی پدر نہ دیکھے کوئی پدر نہ دیکھے یہ عالم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے. خیمے میں کر رہی تھی سکینہ یہی دعا تھی سکینہ یہی دعا. خیمے میں کر رہی تھی سکینہ یہی دعا. آ جائے خیریت سے آ جائے خیریت سے میرے ہم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے. اکبر پلٹ کے آئے یہ صغرا کی تھی دعا. اکبر پلٹ کے آئے یہ صغرا کی تھی دعا. اکبر پلٹ کے آئے یہ صغرا کی تھی دعا. پھر بھائی اور بہن ملے پھر بھائی اور بہن ملے باہم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو کم خدا کرے دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو خدا کرے. اکبر نے شہ کے سامنے توڑا تھا جیسے داؤں. اکبر نے شہ کے سامنے توڑا تھا جیسے داؤں. اکبر نے شہ کے سامنے توڑا تھا جیسے داؤں. کوئی پدر نہ دیکھے, کوئی پدر نہ دیکھے, یہ عالم خدا کرے. دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو خدا کرے. دل سے ہمیں حسین نہ ہو خدا کرے. لے جاؤں میں لحد میں, لے جاؤں میں لحد میں, یہی غم خدا کرے. دل سے غم